Have you ever found yourself in a social situation and just felt awkward? Well, today we're going to break down exactly how you can transform that feeling, not just for a moment, but into real, genuine confidence. Oh, we have all been there. That moment where your heart kind of pounds and you're trying to figure out what someone's thinking? Or even worse, that dreaded, awkward silence when your mind just goes completely blank. It's a horrible feeling, but it's totally normal. And today we're going to unpack a real, actionable solution. So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the social confidence puzzle itself. Then, we'll walk through this amazing 3-step framework for change. And we're going to wrap it all up with a simple hack you can literally use 2 minutes from now to change how you feel. Okay, so let's start with this puzzle. We are wired for connection, right? It's a basic human need. So why on earth does it sometimes feel so incredibly difficult? We have this deep, deep desire to connect, but social anxiety can feel like this huge brick wall standing right in our way. You know the feeling? We get totally trapped inside our own heads. We're overanalyzing every tiny little glance, every shift in posture, desperately trying to figure out if it's a good sign or a bad sign. And at the exact same time, we're terrified that the conversation is going to grind to a halt. It's this vicious cycle of uncertainty, and today we are going to break it. So how do we actually break that cycle? Well, we're going to use this incredibly powerful psychological model that gives us a clear path. And what's so wild is that it was originally designed for huge organizations going through massive changes, but it turns out it's perfect for personal transformation. Let me introduce you to Lewin. This guy is basically the father of social psychology, and he came up with a model for change that is just brilliant in its simplicity. It all boils down to a simple metaphor, an ice cube. Think about it like this. If you have an ice cube and you want to turn it into an ice cone, you can't just force it, right? It'll just shatter. First, you have to unfreeze it. You have to melt it down to water. Then you can make the change. You pour that water into a new cone-shaped mold. And finally, you refreeze it to make that new shape solid and permanent. And this first step, unfreezing, is absolutely essential. It's all about awareness. It's about recognizing and melting away those old habits that hold us back. Like, you know how we sometimes unconsciously make ourselves smaller? We hunch our shoulders, we cross our arms. That kind of powerless body language just reinforces our own feelings of insecurity. Okay, so once we've started to melt those old habits, it's time to dive into the change phase. This is where we pour the water into that new mold by grabbing some incredible, scientifically backed tools for our mind, our body, and our conversations. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. This comes from the work of social psychologist Amy Cuddy, and she discovered that our bodies can actually change our minds. Just look at the difference here. On the left, you've got these high-power poses. They're expansive, they're open, you're taking up space. On the right, you see low-power poses, closed off, small, almost like you're trying to hide. And get this isn't just about feeling more confident. These poses create real, physiological changes in your body. In her study, just 2 minutes spent in a high-power pose led to a 20% increase in testosterone, which is the hormone associated with confidence and dominance.
But wait, there's more. At the very same time, those 2 minutes caused a 25% decrease in cortisol, the body's main stress hormone. So you're not just faking it, you are literally configuring your brain's chemistry to be more assertive and way less reactive to stress.
So just think about what that means. We've used our body to fundamentally change our mind. We've laid the hormonal groundwork for confidence. Now, with that powerful internal state shifted, we can approach the external stuff, like having a conversation, from a place of genuine strength, not anxiety. And speaking of conversation, here's a super simple tool that will make sure you never run out of things to say again. It's called the FORD method: family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Think of these as 4 easy doorways into a great conversation. They're universal, they get you past all the boring small talk, and they lead to real, meaningful connection. And if you want another powerhouse technique, check out the Benjamin Franklin effect. It's a little counterintuitive, but it's amazing. When you ask someone for a tiny favor, like, hey, could you watch my stuff for a second? Their brain has to justify why it helped you. And it tells itself, well, I must like this person if I'm helping them. It's such a simple, ethical way to build instant rapport. All right, let's move on to that final, crucial stage, refreeze. This is how we take all these new changes and make them last. It's all about solidifying these new habits so they become a permanent part of who you are, not just something you tried once. And to really get this, let's go back to Amy Cuddy's personal story. She was in a really bad car accident that resulted in a brain injury, and she was told her IQ had dropped significantly. I mean, can you imagine? She said there is nothing that leaves you feeling more powerless. It's that feeling of being an imposter, which I think a lot of us can relate to in our own ways.
And this experience led her to her most powerful insight. And it's so important. Don't fake it till you make it. Instead, fake it till you become it. See the difference? This isn't about being inauthentic or putting on a mask. It's about practicing these new behaviors, the powerful posture, the engaging conversations, until they stop feeling like an act and they just become your new authentic self. You literally become that more confident person.
So let's bring this all home. Let's talk about your transformation and how you can start this process right now with a simple life hack that takes only 2 minutes.
Here it is. It's so easy. Before your next job interview, your next date, that difficult conversation you've been dreading, find a private space, a bathroom stall, an empty office, an elevator, whatever works. And for just 2 minutes, adopt a high power pose. Stand like Wonder Woman, hands on your hips, chin up. It is a free, no-tech life hack to literally prime your brain for success.
And the goal here isn't just to win the interview or get the date. The real goal is to walk away from that situation feeling like you presented your true, authentic self. To leave without that awful, nagging regret of, oh, I wish I'd been more confident, or I wish I'd said. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. We know that tiny tweaks can lead to big, big changes. These tools can genuinely alter the course of your life, one interaction at a time. And it all starts with a simple choice. What will you do in your next 2 minutes?